ultimately, it's up to you.
Hello, hello. Welcome, friends. This is Chris Jansen. Welcome to the End Evil podcast. It is January 25th, and evil is the destruction of freedom, just like it was last week and just like it's going to be next week. And we're still living in this screwed up matrix with the authoritarian mindset prevailing. And therefore, there's an abundance of evil for us to battle and illuminate. And there's billions and millions of minds out there that still haven't recognized the facts that natural law is the unchanging binding condition that governs human behavior. And what we're experiencing here in the world is an outcome of the behavior of the things we've done and people have done leading up to this moment. And if we don't start changing our behaviors and attitudes and actions into the world, then we're going to go on seeing this kind of evil, cyclical, terrible thing going on and on and on. And the sooner that we all start working together to do something about it, the sooner we can change that. So just got on the screen here a little picture of my website. This is the tap link. I always put the tap link in my advertisements. So if you follow me on Facebook or YouTube, just scroll down in the comments and you can find my tap link, and it has the website, and you can sign up for my email list, which I'm soon to send out an email, but way behind. Sorry, email friends. I'm definitely not one of those people that sends you an email every day. You don't got to worry about that if you sign up. You can check out Freedom Under Natural Law at freedomundernaturallaw.com. And then I got YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Odyssey. And we got a Telegram for the One Great Work Warriors, which is always a cool chat going there. I have trouble keeping up with it. There's so much going on. And BitChute, and then the wonderful One Great Work Network, which, is where we find some of the most awesome content creators in the planet on the One Great Work Network. And I highly recommend going there. And so welcome to the show. Today's topic is about the life to become an entrepreneur, the path to becoming an entrepreneur. And I'm going to bring on some guests today. So if you're in the chat out there, looks like we got Jerry in the chat and Derek and Jason, some awesome people here already. Good to see you guys. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining me. Up on screen here, I've got the endevil.life, my website. And yes, very true. Thank you, Jason, for that. Objective morality can work in our favor if we understand it and work with it. And I'm going to go ahead and put that link. I did put it in the chat there. If you scroll up in the chat, if you're on YouTube or Facebook, you should be able to join in. I'm open to having other friends or anybody, in fact, who's interested about talking about this topic today to join me. Because from my point of view, becoming an entrepreneur is an important aspect to this whole truth-speaking endeavor. And it's a necessary aspect for us to start learning. At least, at minimal, we need to start working on it. And I got Jerry's here in the chat, and looks like Derek's going to be joining us today too. And I know I have at least one other friend who talked about showing up today, so it's good to see you folks. Welcome, Jerry. Right now I'm full screen, I guess, so it's probably why I can't see Jerry. There we go. I was going to read this real quick. I looked up the entrepreneur etymology. Here, I'll hide you for a second, Jerry, and then I'll bring you right back. So people can see this. It said it came from the word enterprise, meaning a business manager. And enterprise is an undertaking, past participle of entreprendere, which is take in hand, to take, to catch hold of, to seize. So adventurous disposition. And let me bring back my man Jerry, and looks like Derek's camera's not on, but he's here. Derek, can we hear you? Got no audio yet. How about you, Jerry? Can we hear you?
Hello,
Yeah, your
hello.
sound's coming in. How you doing today?
I'm great. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing all right. Doing good. Excited for this discussion about entrepreneur. It was really fun having you on last week, and that whole talk. And I think there's a lot to be said on this topic, and I'm hoping that we can inspire, motivate, and encourage other people on this path. And I think, like what we talked about last week, the networking aspect of it is really crucial and important. Like whatever community we gather here, like on the show, for instance, they can be exposed to whatever it is that we're, whatever we're offering to the world, to the market. And so, you know, thanks for joining me last week, Jerry. How's I know you got one contact through that, and I want people to know out there that Jerry's doing uploads work for freedom fighters, for people that care about freedom. They're trying to get their content out there. He can help you with your uploads. And yeah, how's that going, Jerry? How's your upload work going?
Yeah, man. I'm, I'm up to the neck with work, but it's all about having a process to manage the workflow. And once I get that rolling, I'll be able to do it with ease, smoothly. So I'm working on it. I got a client that wants me to do shorts for her. So I'm very excited about that
Right on.
endeavor for me, and yeah, I'm just ready to jump in like a like a cannonball.
Yeah. Well, I guess part of my message or note to people listening is that the entrepreneurial journey, the path is not always a simple, easy one. It is, like, as the etymology points out, it's an undertaking. It's you have to seize
Right.
it. It's a seize the day, um, get out there and get it type of thing. And I've had quite a journey myself. I would say about 8, 9 years ago is when I really got started on the journey of deciding I don't want to have a typical 9 to 5 job anymore. I don't want to be that level of slavery. And it really did feel like that level of slavery to me at that point in my life. Welcome, Sid. Thanks for joining us. Good to see you, man.
Hey, likewise. Thanks.
Yeah, your sound's coming in real good. And Sid's been pretty awesome recently, giving me some advice with social media, and that's obviously a department I need to work on to make my podcast grow. And then I think anybody with the modern day business or entrepreneurial journey at some point is gonna get hit in the face with the fact that you have to have some level of social media involvement. Do you think that's true, Sid? For me to say
Yeah,
that?
like no one will buy from you if you don't know you exist, and they won't buy from you if you don't know, like, and trust you. So, if you don't want to use social media, I hope you have some other solution to get people to do that. And social media, like the uh, ROI, potentially is well worth the effort.
Return on investment.
Yes,
For those who don't know the lingo. Yeah, you learn a lot of these words on the path
there
to
we go.
becoming an entrepreneur for sure, right?
Yeah, for sure.
What's the one that when you do like a Facebook ad or something, it's a click per
Rate.
cost per
CPM,
click.
cost per mil.
How
What?
does that work?
I have no idea. I've never paid for Facebook ads, so there's a
Oh,
bunch of that aspect that I'm clueless about, really. But yeah, the CPM, I believe, is cost per 1,000 clicks. That's all I really know, and how you can super specifically target people.
right. So if you paid for 100 clicks and you spent um, $20, and then out of those 100 clicks, you had one customer that spent $100, then you got that return on investment, right? Your investment of $20, you got a return of $100. So you made $80 if I'm doing the math. Obviously, I'm not the accountant in this business. I think I might have got that right. Tried to keep it simple so I didn't confuse myself. But yeah,
4 times the investment.
right.
That's
So,
beautiful.
yeah, it's quite a process. So, Sid, what's been your journey with the entrepreneurial?
Well,
what's your path?
I'm fortunate enough that I'm comfortable enough that I can take my time. So I'm kind of just at the side hustle stage. So I'm contributing with Richard Grove, and the Tragedy and Hope / Autonomy / Grand Theft World stuff. And through a comedy of circumstances, I've found myself trying to build a tarot business. And that's been an incredible journey. But it is it is so close to the beginning. I was thinking about it earlier, and like for the tarot stuff. First of all, let's say that I somehow managed to make it so that I could pay my desired lifestyle by doing tarot readings. That would be really cool, but I've essentially replaced my job with another job. And the other aspect is that it is something I deeply enjoy. Oh yeah, sorry. Coming back to what I was saying first, I was thinking about it recently, and like on a good year, I'll make like $100 from the tarot stuff. It's really from the media management and things like that that I'm getting the side income, and hopefully I can build the tarot stuff so much that I can scale it somehow and figure out how my talent stack positions me so that I can just, talk about shit that I like and do what I want. That dream.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful.
It's good you brought that up too, because it was occurring to me a little earlier today. It would be good to talk about in this talk some of the different aspects of the way entrepreneurs can. There's different modes, okay, right? Like you mentioned, the side hustle. So that might be one beginning path to becoming an entrepreneur. It's not an all or nothing thing. There's a lot of ways to go about it. And one way that a lot of people do is they just kind of get this little side hustle going. Some people even like play poker on their phone and manage to make money doing that, of all things, and to me it sounds like gambling, but if you have
it
something,
is.
I mean, it is, yeah, but if you
Yes.
can consistently make money over a period of time and you're not always losing, then
Mhm.
it is a side hustle, right? You're making
Yes.
something. I know people that have like I've heard of people that have like a Minecraft server, and they just like sell diamond axes and stuff, imaginary tools, online, and
Yeah.
or other video games, and they have servers or accounts, or they just mine things. There's mining like Bitcoin, for instance. So something like that can kind of be going on, for a couple hours here in the evening, maybe trading Bitcoin, on the weekend, something that you like doing that's fun. Okay. And so that's one aspect. That's one way to handle the entrepreneurial journey. Start with the side hustle. Another one that I wasn't really aware, understand well enough until Autonomy, and Richard really nailed it home, especially doing a whole bonus lecture on affiliates.
Yeah.
And so affiliates is another pathway. It's something I've talked about on the show. I kind of got some real lightweight affiliate setups going on right now. It seems like the bigger podcasts, you have to reach a certain amount of people to really get like a heavy hitting advertisement that will give you an affiliate deal. But basically, if someone out there doesn't know what I'm talking about, an affiliate is like someone clicks a link on your website and that leads to a purchase. Then you get a kickback from that purchase, and it might be a small percent, and it might be a bigger percent depending on what the product and your arrangement with your affiliate is. And so that's also all you have to do is have a website or somewhere to promote, to have an affiliate link that someone could click, and then that's trackable, basically.
Like
Do you
social
guys
media.
want to say any more about the affiliate link thing and or side hustles?
What I'd like to add is that from an income point of view, building an affiliate business versus building a business are very similar, in the sense that no one's going to click on your affiliate link if they don't know it exists and if they're not interested in what's on the other side of it, you know. So it's you can't just post your link everywhere and think that that's going to do it, you know.
Yeah, I have a good example of that, actually, because years ago I had a friend, and see, if I was smarter, I would have been paying attention to my friends a lot sooner. But I've always been very stubborn-minded. But this friend, he was kind of an earlier. He was catching on to this stuff way before I was, and he had this terrible experience with the unemployment department, and he wrote up a website. He started a website. I think it was. I don't remember. It was like. Fuck you, unemployment development, or something like that. It was like, I hate the unemployment department website. I can't remember exactly the domain he had, but it was something like that that kind of got your attention. And he told his story about the experience he had with the unemployment department. And then he had like a forum, and more people started telling their stories about how much they hated the unemployment department and the troubles they went through. And he got it to the point where there was a lot of visitors on this site, because everybody was going there to get information, because a lot of people were not just posting their story, but they were posting how they resolved it. And it got big enough to where he was able to start adding like affiliate links on the side. And yeah, I remember him explaining to me that that's how it works, and I was kind of impressed. But the reason it worked is because people had this shared frustration with this shitty department that didn't handle things right. And then
Yep.
it became a warehouse of information of how to deal with this crappy thing that so many people had to deal with. So people were coming there to look at that. And then, you know, well, you got something like that, and you got all those eyes there, you might as well sell something. So it's kind of like creating a bazaar or a fair or a market, you know, and letting people set up stands, right?
Yeah,
look
for
at
real.
Eric jump back in. Let's see if he works this time.
Hello, hello. Bonjour,
All
bonjour.
right, Harry.
Why does this happen every time I come on your
Frank,
show, man? This dinky, crappy microphone. How's it going, Sid? Nice to meet you.
Yes, likewise.
Sounds like you've been from Autonomy, possibly.
Yeah, that's where I met Chris and Jerry.
That's awesome. Chris, I wanted to mention I'm glad you brought up the etymology of that. I'm out here in France, and entreprendre. I mean, it's the same word in French, but that earlier abbreviation, entre and prendre. Entre is like in between, and prendre is to take. So, yeah, it was a cool breakdown. Like how you mentioned, Chris, you know, it's a grand undertaking sometimes, right? So, yeah, and it is a grand idea to really weave one's, passions, interests with, the pathwork of making money type of thing. And yeah, just getting more affiliates and like-minded folks that you can kind of reference other, potential clients, customers, whatever, to other, people's great work, services, products, whatever, right? So. Yeah.
Absolutely. And, I just had this discussion with, I forgot who it was, just like today or yesterday. A lot of folks have this kind of hang up about money, like money's bad, and I just wanted to point out that we've done some cool roundtables. If you go to endevil.life, here it is. The top one was a recent roundtable we did about money. And we've had a discussion with the One Great Warriors, Work Warriors as well, about money. And basically where I come down on it is that, the idea of money, it's like a tool, right? Like a sword or a gun is necessarily not a bad thing. But in the wrong hands, it can become a pretty terrible thing. And we have a marketplace right now that's owned. It's like if you were to go to a fair and whoever's running the scales is cheating, they're putting more weight on one side of the scale than the other. So the whole system that we have in place right now is generally ripping you off. It's stealing from all of us. So it has a very evil aspect to it. But that being said, that's no reason why we shouldn't do our best within that evil to create good, and to show how it should be done. And I think it can be done really ethically. It's just harder. It just
Yeah.
requires more diligence and patience, I think. And so I've been searching all the ways to make it happen. The reason being, if I'm stuck working a 9-to-5 job for like where I was when I first came to this realization, like working for the state, all I'm doing is kind of replicating the problem that I dislike so much, is, so many people falling into this kind of slavery zombie like system. And then that allows these few people that are psychopaths to even more take over and control more people. But the more of us that become independent, we have our own private networks that trade, that creates freedom, not only for us, but for future generations. So I'll pass the mic. I'd like to hear a little bit about the reason why you guys think it's important, the path towards the entrepreneur.
Well, money, like it's inevitable. Like every transaction, most transactions in today's world requires some sort of currency, and the main one is the Federal Reserve notes. So the way to get that is to get a 9 to 5, or if you have the skills, then you can essentially give value for Federal Reserve notes. And that's why this is important, to learn these skills, entrepreneurship. It's not just going to come to you. If someone was born if their parent was a billionaire and they were left all this money, there's a high probability they would lose that money because they didn't know how to get that money. So that's why these skills are important, in order to understand how to get the money, maintain it, invest it, and teach others how to do that as well.
Yeah, to back up what you're saying, I think if you look up statistics on people that win the lottery, I think more times than not, they wind up broker or in worse straits than when they started, not better. Derek or Sid?
Money management is such a vital skill to have, and it's a skill that I can only say I've started building more recently than I'd like. But it's never too late to just, because it's a numbers game, so there's that advantage. That's one of the advantages of money and currency and shit like that. And as long as you keep track of what's going in and what's going out, and you try to put some delta in for yourself, at 65 or whatever, the oldest you that you're thinking of right now, put some things aside for that person, and managing that when, like, you got car payments, you got all that shit breaks, and things like that. It's really tough.
Yeah, totally. Something that needs to be addressed really is just, within any transaction exchange, if you will, there's an energy exchange, right? And this falls under, natural law, one of the principles of reciprocity, or the law of Gebel as well, if you will, where, yeah, it's kind of been circumvented into the hands of the bankster, prankster, wanksters or whatnot, right? So, yeah, I think we're all on that path of just trying to be as autonomous as possible while staying aligned to natural law principles and morality, or objective morality, if you will. And yeah, it might have to start as a side hustle, Sid, as you mentioned. That's great you're doing tarot and that kind of good work. So, yeah.
Yeah, and then, I had a really good point made to me by a guy I still follow. We're still friends, social media, and we've done some business exchange as well. This guy, Nathan Frazier, we're good friends on. I'll probably have him on as a guest again. He's a really good interviewer too.
Oh shit, Nathan's been on here before. I'm quite familiar with Nathan Frazier. He's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I don't know if he's been on since I started End Evil podcast. I interviewed him back when I had another podcast called The Scritch Show. And,
Anonymous
okay.
but yeah, we've been in contact for quite a few years. But what I learned from him was, I remember a podcast he used to do called Live Free FM. And he made the point that even if you're selling freedom, you're still selling it. You know, when it comes to doing a podcast or doing a show, you're still selling something, you know. And that's literally the way we need to approach it. We need to learn marketing, because if you're just shouting at people what they should do better, they're just not going to listen to you. And if you actually want to make a difference in people's minds, even if you were leading people into a battle, you got to sell it to them. You know, that's why they, the commander or the king always gave a glorious speech before battle, right? Because you got to sell people into the idea of doing whatever it is. So even if you're not trying to make the money, the skrill, you still need to learn to market or sell yourself if you have an idea that's important. And I thought that was a wonderful point he made. So
that actually reminds me of something I picked up very recently. I've discovered an extremely deep well of information for this kind of stuff that I've barely begun going through. His name is Dan Koe, Dankoe, and when you were talking about marketing, the phrase, it reminded me of a phrase that he uses: persuasive communication. That's what it all comes down to. And as long as it's all of the skills, sales, marketing, all of that stuff, it's all boils down to persuasive communication, and that is the fundamental skill that can make you basically bulletproof, even in an economy where with the technological revolution that is at our door will make it so, the grammar layer of the trivium. Imagine, like, you see how poorly we're getting along now. Imagine when the who, what, when, where is not something we can agree on. And the last couple of years has been a test to this at the microscopic level. Now imagine the macroscopic level, like, a car accident. What if one of those cars was never there? But yeah, with persuasive communication, you'll be
I like that.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
what was the name of the person you were recommending there? I missed that.
Dan Koe, Dankoe.
D-A-N-K-O-E.
I discovered him through the YouTube algorithm, which I'm unironically a huge fan of. I love the YouTube algorithm so much. Holy shit. It is amazing. But he's all about using his experience in entrepreneurship and teaching other people how to do that. And I really like his approach. And
it's like he's got a book.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah,
Focus.
here's the way that Dan's content is inspiring me to see if I can get some stranger that I've never met before to do for me right now. To do for me what I'm doing for Dan right now, which is to bring him up unprompted. I'm getting absolutely nothing from it, and I fucking love his shit. It would be incredible to figure out how to get people to do that for me.
That's the law.
Yeah.
You do receive it, bro.
Yeah.
I was thinking that same thing today. I was like, I asked, am I an influencer? Because I'm always like promoting other people's shit, and like some people do buy it. So, we got to become influencers.
Well, I think that's huge. We talked about that last week, and I knew it'd come up this week, that the networking thing, to have enough friends that I can say, hey, I'm going to do live roundtable, and people actually show up, is amazing to me. It's a beautiful thing. And 4, 5, 6, 7, even if it's only that many people, that's a lot of minds put together, and that's a lot of possibilities for connections. And I will say, in my time since I've decided to start doing the entrepreneurial journey, I could point out like all these people whose advice or something they said was like a huge boom. There was another woman I interviewed named Kaylee, and I still get her emails. I interviewed her many years ago, and she did this thing where she offered a free meeting with her, and then you would meet with her, and then she made her offer at the end of the meeting, but it was like, you got this free 45-minute meeting with her. I don't remember, it was half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, something like that. And she's just, giving you time, listening to you, giving you advice. And that's a lot what like Richard Grove or, whoever his helpers are that answer the phones when, people want to join autonomy. It's the same thing. You give somebody something just like out of your heart, and then that kind of gives them the opportunity to choose, okay, now do I want to go to the next level and do business with you? I already kind of trust this person because they've given me something free, and then when you're giving it, you give it without necessarily needing to get anything back. You've already set aside that time to give out free, and that's what she did. The model that Kaylee, the woman I'm talking about, shared with me, which was something really cool. So yeah, I mean, if you guys have any experiences you want to share of some of the people you've seen that are doing a great job, I'd love to hear what those are.
Yeah, Chris, that's the hook. That's how they get you. A little freebie, and then just kidding, but it works on so many levels, right? But I think everyone here is in it for the win-win, right? Networks like these are just more independent, grassroots. We're not monetarily driven yet. We want to make money, but we don't want to pay taxes that fund wars and all that crap and slavery and whatnot. But yeah, offering something for free, and especially getting people on an email list, is a model that seems to be very successful, and been a little bit under the mentorship of Maria West. And if you go to her website, Love, Truth, and Beauty, it's going to exemplify exactly what you were alluding to, Chris. And having things that are making passive income where people can just, subscribe to a pre-recorded, step-by-step little like mini workshops or something like that. And then you have other bigger services and like services that include groups of people and that kind of stuff. So diversifying your works, man. Right. So yeah.
Actually, the diversification also plays into why going onto that journey, because if you're an employee and that's your main source of income, or maybe okay, I'll stick to people who have one full-time job for now. Let's just say if you're working multiple part-time jobs, you get like the worst of all those worlds. But the bottom line is you only have one source of income, so it's one point of failure. Whereas with entrepreneurship, sometimes you get that whale client, which puts you in a very similar situation. But if you avoid that, assuming you even want to, I mean, business is business, all right? At least you've diversified your portfolio in terms of where your income comes from.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but these things are a lot easier said than done.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
Maintaining all that stuff. Yeah, Chris was good.
It is tricky. Yeah, I brought up that it's kind of cut off a little bit, but Love, Truth, and Beauty, Maria's website. Wow, it's really pretty. She did a nice job on that. Having an intro video, I think, is a really good thing to have on a website where someone, as soon as they open it, they can just boom, click in and get to know you. And then right there, she's got the email capture. That's a really important thing. A lot of people give something free away. And it looks like she's got, some material right there. We talked a little bit about the side hustle. We talked a little bit about the affiliate hustle, another way to go about things. Another way is having an evergreen product. And that's something I'm really working towards. And they really talk a lot about in autonomy too, like creating some kind of course, something that someone can buy from you and download that you don't have to keep making. You've already made it. It's already there. I mean, like a book is that way, or a music album's that way. And so, that's just, again, there's so many different modalities, of ways to go about making money on online. I've had some luck through Craigslist myself in my journey. I do handyman work, and I've done a lot of construction over the years. There's not a lot I'm afraid of fixing when it comes to like a residential house. So like when I moved up here, for instance, I wanted to find a job before I moved up here, but it just wasn't panning out. I looked around, and part of me didn't want to find a job because I wanted to try to go it on my own, but I was also nervous. I was scared, and I had enough money saved up for a few months' rent, but I didn't want to cut it that close, right? So when I came up here, after I'd spent about a month settling in or whatever, I took a picture of myself with my vehicle, and I have this little trailer that I can haul some stuff in, some garbage, and I called it Small Hauls. And I put a list of the things, and I had a picture of me smiling on the picture. And the next day, I was getting bing, bing, bing calls all morning, and it kept me busy for like the next 3-4 weeks. And I only ever used that one advertisement, and I didn't spend a lot of time on it. If I look at it now, it probably embarrass me because I've gotten better with my images. But so there's a couple examples. I'll pass the mic. Anybody else want to share some examples, ways to go about this madness, or why it's difficult? I'm fine with that too.
You just put out a picture, you're smiling, right? Like, that's good enough. People are gonna want your services. Imagine if we improve that, how much more services we can provide. Like, there's a lot of room for improvement, and I just think little by little we can get to that goal. But it's about not giving up. Being consistent is huge. Sid knows about that consistency. You want to talk about that, Sid?
Yeah, exactly. It's a never-ending grind. Well, okay, it depends, because the rant that I'm about to go on does have one escape hatch, and that escape hatch is just buying ads. If you want to do it for free, it's a never-ending grind where you're just putting yourself out there, and every rep, you put it out there. I publish shit that I'm not happy with all the time, and it is part of the game. Even bad data points is still data points, and it's really a question of putting as many data points as you can reasonably get at a rhythm that you could do forever if you had to. So I think if you can't do once a week, it's going to be tough. But even if you can't do once a week, even once a month is better than not even trying,
Or just getting all excited and doing one thing and then petering out and then not doing anything for 6 months, or a year, right?
For sure.
That does wonders for the algorithms, huh, Sid?
Well, I'll tell you, I've had a difficult time with, being a podcaster. It's hard to build a community, to build a tribe, especially if you're talking about one of the most difficult topics on the earth, on the planet, in the universe, which is what I'm trying to do. But one thing I will say is I decided quite a while back that I'm going to just stick with Thursday nights. And my podcast is always going to be Thursday at 6, hell or high water. And sticking with that one consistency, I think, has been one of the biggest winning aspects of it. Is like a lot of people forget, but once you do go to the show or you've been on it, it kind of sticks in your head. Oh yeah, Thursdays, right? It's always Thursdays. So yeah, that consistency's, I think it's crucial. And what we're talking about, exercise, diet, any of the other things in life that we might want to do well at, again, it's going to be the same thing. Can you consistently do it? Because you can go on a diet, lose all this weight, and then plunge right back into the same behavior before, and now you're maybe worse off than you were when you started. So it's not about making a big change in your life right now and quitting your job. I don't recommend that. It's about slowly, carefully working and doing stuff. But like Sid's saying, I don't think you're saying to be sloppy, but what you're saying is better to be consistent than to not do anything at all, which is a lot of us do. We get in our head and we start thinking of all the reasons it's not going to work, or people aren't going to like it.
Here's the thing: the people who are happy with sloppy work didn't need to hear what I had to say anyway. They're putting their sloppy work out there already. What's your perfectionist ass doing? that's who I'm talking to.
And said, hell yeah.
Yeah, what's that term they use? I remember they used it a lot in the marketing about hesitation. And it's they have a funny term for it, but it's just that everybody does this. We have an idea, we want to institute it, but our brain starts thinking of all the things that might go wrong, or people aren't going to like it, or, well, first I need to get this done. People always say that when I talk to them about their big goals and plans. I'm like, well, why haven't you done it? Like, well, first I just need to do this and that. They have these hinges, these things that it can't happen until these other things happen. And that's something we all do. And it's basically a form of making an excuse. It's just like the fear of launching. And my advice to everybody is, the sooner you get out there and start doing stuff, the sooner you can make those mistakes that aren't really mistakes in the long run. But however bad you think they might be, the sooner you make them and start developing the problems, the sooner you can start fine-tuning the ship, like Jerry said, by putting that ad out. Then now I know the next time I can make it even better, because that was not the best ad. I made that in a few minutes,
That's beautiful, Chris. Like, there's a whole world to explore, and like, fear should not prevent you from doing that, because this is fun. Like, fear is bullshit. Like, that's fucking programming. It's a virus for you to not take action. And of course, there's good fear. I'm not talking about that. Yes, run away from the fucking bear that's trying to kill you. I'm talking about, don't let the fear, that nonsense story, prevent you from taking real world action. And before I pass it to you, Derek, I know we're talking about entrepreneurship, but like, I'm hoping to inspire people who aren't thinking about entrepreneurship to think about it. And for me, I want to develop my content creator skills, because I've bought so many lies and excuses as to why not create content. Oh, like, I don't know enough. That's bullshit. I'll pass it to you, Derek.
Yeah, it's kind of bullshit. I like what Alexander Hilling said about paralysis by analysis.
That's a term I was looking for. Yeah,
a word. So we're like, we got these crazy cool ideas, and we want to do something, and then there's that inner dialogue. We can be our worst critic, our worst cynic, and all this stuff, right? It can put us into a big procrastinative state, and we might be like that hen that's sitting on an egg, and nothing happens. It just results into a goose egg or whatever, a big fat zero sometimes. So yeah, that's unfortunate how those opportunities, are just like that creative energy through that imagination of ideas just gets kind of squandered, or it doesn't get to see the light of day really in the manifested world or whatever. So yeah, I had something else to say, but I just wanted to mention that.
I'll take it back real quick, and if you can think about what you're gonna say, because like, I've written down some great ideas. I mean, and I've never taken action. And like I said about the lies, oh, I'm not smart enough. And then when I review my notes from, like, I don't know, a year ago, they're so good. They're like the same thoughts I have now. It's all about just expressing it.
Oh yeah, I remember what I want to say. So yeah, talking about consistency, it's such a great point. And Chris, it's phenomenal what you've done, showing up, week in, week out, and all that stuff with, the One Great Work Warriors meetings every week, and you got all these other networking meetings on the weekends and stuff. You and Leslie got it going on. That's awesome. And having that consistency and just putting that into practice. And yeah, we've been throwing out freebies for years, right? Been doing this for over a decade now. And I've been really on the fence of, making a Patreon account so people can actually subscribe to just more in-depth work or whatever. But that means that I have to, pump out a lot more content. And I'm really more about that, quality over quantity, right? So where's that fine line? Where can we find the happy medium of those things and still make some of that money on the side and make that side hustle more just like the main source of income, in a sense? And being able to show up all the time, whether you be sick or all that stuff, or having to, make a little comment post, like, hey guys, sorry, I can't make it for this week's meeting. I'm over traveling or whatever. There's a lot of things in one's life that are going to be interrupted just by having to be focused on a microphone and a computer, just because, getting entrenched in this work requires a shitload of dedication, right? So yeah, I applaud your all efforts for that.
Thanks, Derek, and appreciate it, Alexander. The compliment in the comments, and little message from Colby there. The perfect is the enemy of the good. Yep.
Facts.
So perfect is what you do. Perfect is what you manage to put out there. It's perfect because you did it. Yeah. There's always going to be something you can pick apart and do better the next time around. But if you wouldn't have done the thing, you wouldn't have the thing to build on. I wanted to share one little example of my personal journey. I had a friend who sold stuff on Amazon, and he was actually doing pretty well with this one plan he had for a while. And it was during the time when I was able to quit my job. It was a little abrupt, probably not the best method, but I started this little business, and it was called Grin Again Goods. And I still have the little Facebook page. It's funny because I deleted it and Facebook never actually deleted it, but I'm able to just kind of bring it up to show it to you. But it was a little coffee and tea infuser. And you can brew like a cold brew coffee in it, or put herbs in it, or fruit. And it was kind of like a really cool little idea I had. And even before that, I did that little in coffee and tea infuser. I had sold these little splitters, actually, which split audio into two sources. And it's funny because that came up in a conversation Zoom meeting I was in today. But um, I had these two little products. I started with the little splitters, and then I made a little bit of money with those. I managed to get it higher on the algorithms in Amazon, and then I started investing money into these coffee and tea infusers. And I really wanted to sell a product that I believed in. And I liked the coffee and tea infuser because the whole idea was that the things work in a mason jar. And I was thinking, oh, beverage containers are what's causing all the pollution on the planet. If we could get more people to go over to mason jars the way I do, and I made little covers for my mason jars, and I was going to sell those too. And it was a great idea, and I still think it's a viable business, a possibility. But I went into it with not much money, and the thing I didn't realize is having a product like that requires educating the customer. And it's different if you have a product where everybody's going to look at it before, like we talked about before, when my buddy made the website about I hate unemployment department. Everybody hates unemployment department. They're on the internet looking for other people that hate the unemployment department. So it wasn't hard for people to find that. But there's not people out there looking for coffee and tea infusers. Not very many, as it turns out. And because why would they be looking for that, And so what I learned is marketing and advertising is a huge aspect of selling a product online, and especially if people don't already know about your product. So if you want to sell a product, I would recommend start off with a small product that people are already looking for, unless you have set aside a marketing and advertising budget. But I would have never learned that lesson had I not done my little Grin Again Goods business. And now that I've done that, I learned that lesson in a way that I'll never, ever forget it. Now I can share it with you. So someone else might not have to make that mistake I made.
Wow, yeah, Chris. And can you tie that into this last comment of fear is a strong energy. When one caters to fear, they lose contact with their creativity. One is an energy addict. They cater to the lowest energy, being low-hanging fruit like fear. Yeah, that's great. And how much of the marketing we see on television and whatnot, they cater to fear, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you start looking into marketing, that's one of the main things I took away as I started looking into it and listening to books, was that people make decisions from a place of emotions. In all commercial and advertising, they begin by finding your pain. Oh, are you feeling not so great? Are you not at your best energy? Here's our solution. We can make your life could be much better. You don't have to live your days with that burning pain in your ass. And then you go, yeah, I hate the burning pain in my ass, and then say, well, here's the solution, right? That's how marketing works, because the truth is that's how people's psychology works. I know, Sid, you got to say something on this one. I'm going to pass it off to you.
Oh, I was just noticing LibreCast signing up, and I wanted to say good night, Fred. Um, Yeah, and as far as what you were talking about, I was distracted by the podcast leaving, so I was kind of half listening. If you could,
No, that's all good.
yeah,
I got something to say.
Go ahead,
but,
Jerry.
yeah,
Actually, Derek isn't here, but for the listeners, you were asking, what do you do when you want to set up this Patreon account? And it's going to be more work, and what happens when you get sick and stuff like that. Like, I think you have to prepare for those times, like when you get sick. Like, what are you going to do? So having that in a plan is super important. And I believe, or I know, once your emotion, the more you can do. So it's kind of true. Like, the more your emotion, the more you'll knock out these tasks, the more you're focused. So that's what I wanted to say. We pass it to Sid.
no, things in motion tend to stay in motion. Things at rest tend to stay at rest, and that's the I guess the trick becomes how to start taking action if you're at rest, and
Exactly.
a trick that I use, sometimes it works, is to picture what the smallest step imaginable is. Like let's say it's working out. The smallest step imaginable is putting one of your workout shoes in front of the door, and
So where you literally trip on it, right?
the other shoe is right there when you're picking up that one workout shoe. Why not just pick that one up too? And from there, that little pebble can, if you're lucky, start building up a bit of snow. Actually, it's so funny because I'm not going to show all of them to you, but I have.
I thought you were going to get out your workout shoes right now.
No, I have these little post-it notes that I keep under this monitor that with things that I like to remind myself of, and it just so happens that the one that is under my monitor right now is "Wiggle your big toe," which is exactly the metaphor for what I'm saying. Sometimes the smallest action step you can take is to wiggle your big toe, and actually, I'm not kidding. By the way, the wiggle your big toe, that actually comes from stoners as a trick. When they're so stoned that they can't get out of the couch, they would literally wiggle their big toe as a way to just get their brain and body moving. And then as you're wiggling your big toe, then you can actually move your body and actually get up off the damn couch, literally. So yeah.
That's fantastic.
This brings to mind like my favorite book that I try to recommend people, Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Yes.
And it's not the only one. There's another book that's like High Powered Habits or something like that. I forgot. But this one I had right on the top of my head because I learned from this guy that same thing you're saying, like start with the smallest aspect, and I always tell people about the push-ups thing, start off by just doing one push-up in the morning, whatever you can do that you can't not do. It's so easy. Once you establish the habit, then you kind of grow. These kind of meetings are a perfect example of that. Like Derek said, I started out having one mastermind group per week, 1 hour. And I tried to be strict about keeping it to that hour, when it get to be about the end, be like, all right, guys, I got to go, but after you get used to having every week that meeting comes along, then you can throw in another evening of the week. And that's kind of where we did the One Great Work Warriors on Tuesdays. And then, I do the podcast on Thursdays. So like my life, Zoom meetings and Restream meetings are just a normal 2, 3, 4, 5 days a week. There's going to be some kind of meeting in the evening. It's just like, putting on your shoes, it's a normal part of my day. It's no stress. It's like, boom, turn on the app, get on here. So you got to start making something an exercise. Even if you're not doing the actual thing yet, you can start practicing. Well, if I did run a business where I was delivering so-and-so on every day, what would that involve? And start getting used to doing those routines every day, do a little bit after work one time, but keep it so small that you can get it in the habit. If you make it too big or too hard, like a diet, it's easy to fail. And then you got the emotional turmoil and you got to work through that. That's a whole no.
Yeah. Mind if I go on a little?
Go.
So you're talking about a lot of things that tie into natural law, like just having that proper rhythm, right? And are we going to be able to, get through the ebbs and be more into the flow of our, inner energy in the workflow that comes forth through us, right? And yes, it always goes back to the first cosmic law principle of mentalism. What is our state of mind? How do we really think about ourselves, our work that we're endeavoring to do and create, and what kind of, all these things. And in the law correspondence, like wiggling your big toe, I'm thinking about that in regards to just like kinetic energy, getting the micro to the macro to get into the flow of things, into the rhythm, and like having the right vibration. And how are we treating inanimate objects or other objects, and how are we, pulsating our oscillating life force energy via the heart center into the reality field for others, and possibly attract the right, business partners, clients, all that good stuff, right? Are we going to be the cause of our own effects? Are we going to let other causes affect our shit, kind of thing? And who are we appealing to with the gender, right? Are we appealing to both genders, or I'm not going to go off on what the hell is going on with outside of that, but like how do we cater to those, or are we bringing things that are universal, right? So there's so many things to be considered with all these things, right? About that natty law, yo, what's up?
Yeah, and that's the important part too, bringing in the big picture. And if you're, this is where I'm going with a lot of trying to talk to people more about motivation and activating willpower. All these things are going to work better if you actually care about what you're doing, if you actually have some passion and purpose behind what you're doing. So it is important that there's some alignment to, I've thought a lot about it. Like I mean, just recently I was kind of considering I could go back the route I've considered before, becoming a contractor, right? But for me, there's a lot of stepping stones on that path that aren't things I'm really in alignment with. The licensing aspect, the way that taxes thing's going to work out. There's a lot of aspects of it that aren't in tune or in alignment with the direction I'm going in my overall purpose. So when I do reconsider that, I say to myself, nah, it doesn't really fit into my life goal and plans and what I really care and am passionate about. So taking the time up front to kind of understand what are your core principles that you're aligning to are super important. I'm not saying don't make moves. Like Sid was saying, we do want to take steps and make moves and wiggle that toe, but having some kind of thoughts and mind towards what's the overall ideology of why you're doing it is going to give you that motivation at times when you feel like you're failing and you want to push through. You're going to need some real purpose and meaning behind what you're doing. Why are you doing it? Why do you need this money? Just to feel good, or because you want to do something great with it? What motivates you more?
Well, the rent's so high also, man, what the hell? No, just kidding.
No,
I'm
that's
tired of
true,
paying
man.
for someone else's mortgage. God damn it! What the hell? What kind of world we living in these days? But
Yep.
yeah, real quick. Sorry, yeah, go Sid.
I was just gonna. It's the old saying, "With a big enough why, you can tolerate any how," or something like that. It's really when you start straying and like erring and wandering and meandering and like in your life or whatever, it's often because you've lost sight of your why. That'll often line you up pretty fast. So at least you have a direction in which to go. It won't get you there right away, but at least you'll have found your north,
Start with why.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, it's like we just got to the hour, so that's like about perfect. It feels like we're kind of rounding a space in the convo. Definitely want to leave a couple minutes left here for if you guys want to talk about anything you're promoting or want to share with folks that might be checking out this show. I'm always trying to ask people, go to chrisjansen.com, join my email list, go to endevil.life and check out the little stuff on the sidebar there. And like I met Sid and Jerry through Autonomy, and I have a link on my website that you can go to if you're curious about Autonomy. If that's something you want to do, I'll show you. It's real simple to do. Just go to endevil.life and then pick any episode, and then right on the sidebar there is the Autonomy link right there, and that is, like I'm saying, one of these kind of affiliate type situations. So it would be a win-win. It would help you out and it would help me out. So if that winds up being the right fit for you, Autonomy is one of many ways to take a step forward, and it's definitely not the only one. Another one's just networking with people like you and I, and contact, reach out, create an interview with somebody. People love to be interviewed. Everyone likes to talk, and all you have to do is ask questions. And one of the biggest skills we learn in Autonomy is how to ask questions so that you can get someone to share what their needs are, and then you can kind of start framing a win-win scenario where that person gets their need met and you get your need met, and boom, everybody wins. And we don't have to have other vampire kind of middlemen in there saying they get a cut of everything. If we have direct trades and relationships with people that are also caring about freedom. So that's where I'll end it. I'll pass it on. Derek, I was just checking out Colin and
Yeah.
Melissa.
Shadow Tech Alchemy?
Shadow Alchemy, and I'm actually
Shadow
setting
Tech.
up an interview with Colin as well myself.
Awesome,
so
brother.
Go ahead and tell us a little bit about some of your work.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. And oh man, I'm in it for the win-win. And the show that Leslie Powers and I have created, Dissolving the Divide, we recently had Colin and Melissa on from Shadow Tech Alchemy. Talked about shadow work. We've talked about with so many great people, over 30 incredible individuals, and literally like over 90% of these people have services that they offer. And that's such a heartwarming and fruitful thing to consider. And I've tried to hold all these people large, showcase their works, and throw as much information, contact info as I can for these people. And I'm not, there's no monetary incentive for me to do that. Yet I can see the potential of creating a platform that establishes that, kind of thing, where you have references after references and all that stuff. I mean, Levolution kind of has a similar thing, but it's still like a free thing for people to check out, kind of like the One Great Work Network, where you can go and check out all these other people, even in Autonomy and other affiliates. And there's that word again, but yeah, just I don't know, just being aligned makes walking the path, I guess, less painful, less fearful, more empowering as well. And just being aligned with folks like y'all is just, yeah, it's pretty energizing and motivational to just want to do more. And, hey, let's keep leveling up, guys, because there's so many other people that we can, come in contact with. So much of the sleepers that need waking, whatever, even though that's a hard sell, right? So it's like you can't even pay people to watch my shit sometimes. I kind of joke around with sometimes. How am I going to get people on Patreon, right? And with Patreon, it's how much vampiristic, funds are they siphoning out of my stuff with all the all the fees and percentages that they take off of payments, and there's a payment fee on top of that. And I was looking into other alternatives to that, and there's nothing really as established as Patreon. So that's what's hard for like these up and coming independent platforms that are trying to mimic something of a YouTube, like with Odyssey, or I think it's like Subscribestar or something like that, as opposed to Patreon. Yet, the traffic is a lot less, and so it's less appealing. You see how people are appealed to, like the big names, or just something that has like a longevity in the game or whatever, right? So
You're in the weird part of town,
right? Yeah, the internet's quite a weird avenue to travel through, man. Shit, multiverse. But yeah, I'll pass it on. Thanks, Sid.
Sid, do you know that website? Like, pardon me if I get this wrong. if after school is a YouTube channel, that's not what I'm thinking about. But there's like a website called Something School.
School Sucks Project.
No,
Is
it's a platform. Essentially, you pay $100 a month, and you can charge members. You can either let members in for free on that website, and you can create courses on there, or I'm thinking you can upload videos for education, and you can also charge them. So that might be a viable option, Derek. I'll get back to you on that name.
Oh, for course hosting? Yeah, I'd be curious to know what that is. It doesn't ring any bells.
Yeah, and like that's why autonomy is great, because it's like, what is it that you don't know that you don't know? And things like this, it's like I'm equipping myself with the knowledge, people who are in alignment, and this is helping me to become a content creator. Like I met Chris Jansen. If it wasn't for him, I swear to God, I would be watching you guys do what you're doing right now, and I'm here empowered, and I feel like I can conquer the world. So yes, check out getautonomy.info. Go to Chris Jansen's website and click on his affiliate link. It's a win-win situation. Check out Derek Bartolocelli's channel. He puts out great content. Check out Sid's content, his tarot content, and look out for my stuff, guys. Have a good night.
Can I? Yeah, for on my end, if you like me here, you'll probably like me on Twitter. I'm Real Sid Rock on Twitter. I'm an asshole on Twitter, so I could be a half decent person everywhere else, and that's the place for it, you know. And as far as the tarot stuff, if you search for Sid Rock Tarot or Sid Rock the Tarot Guy Next Door, you'll find me on YouTube. I'm Real Sid Rock on TikTok as well, where I do a live stream on Friday mornings and post a bunch. Basically, my TikTok strategy is to stream as often as I can on Friday mornings, because that's the time that I can show up consistently. Basically throughout the week, I just post clips from my stream. They're not performing very well, but at least it's content that I'm putting out there, you know. So yeah, those are the main places that people can keep in touch with me. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, thank you for having me. It's my first time on, but I've seen more than a couple of these. So yeah, it's fun to finally be on.
Yeah, great to chat with you, Sid. You rock, man. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I got on the screen there Sid's page on YouTube, Sid Rocks, the tarot guy next door, and I've checked out. He's such a comical and interesting guy to listen to that I think you'll really enjoy his channel. And I also did want to share my good friend Crip Rick's YouTube channel. He's been doing some cool stuff too. Oh, where did I lose it? I had him up.
Yeah, Jerry and I were just with him last week.
Yeah,
awesome.
he's it doesn't matter. You can look him up. He's Crip Rick's I've Been Thinking. And then Colby, his website, you can check out his YouTube work, teaching people how to do CAD work. That's computer-aided drafting. And he's creating a course. That's something he and I are going to be working together on as well. So
I just realized who you are. Hi.
Yeah, a lot of cool possibilities out there, a lot of cool things. But you guys, if you're just sitting there watching and you're not doing, you're going to have a hard time connecting with people. So, you know, I'd say the biggest message of the whole thing is get out there and do some things, meet some people, you know, push your bravery a little bit. You know, there's whatever you're afraid of. When you really look at it, it's like usually just stuff in our head, you know, and when you kind of get the perspective of other people, you realize the things that we're afraid of, we shouldn't really be afraid of. So, yeah.
Yeah, like being afraid of doing the work, right? The great work or networking and all this stuff. It takes work, yeah, but, you know, we can always ask for help. There's folks that are willing and actually eager to help a brother and sister out in this endeavor, especially, you know, on this path work, right? So, hey, there's that word again. Damn it.
Yeah, and
4-letter word. Shit.
Work. You guys are valuable. You know, we're all valuable. Everybody has such a unique experience and perspective. Talk about, you know, tarot. You know, there's a message for every personality, and that's kind of what we are. Is we're different messages from the universe, and we're here for each other. So, tap into that stream, and let's work together to end this evil in the world. We don't need to steal from each other. We can trade. We can work together. We can share. And so, thanks so much, guys, for joining me and making this fantastic show. And we'll be back next week. I don't even know. Oh, yeah. Next week, we're going to do our One Great Warriors topic on mediocrity as the new standard.
So, yeah. Oh,
thanks for joining us, folks in the chat. Rick, Crip Rick. Again, check out Crip Rick shows on Monday, guys. Leslie's out there, Alexander.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Right on. It's hard to bring it to a close because it's so
Thanks
much fun.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah.
All right. I'll bring in a commercial and pull us out. You guys have a good one. Thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you soon.
Aloha.
I'm in a cage. I'm in a prison. I'm in a mental prison, and a physical one at that, and definitely a spiritual one, whether that's recognized at a conscious level or not.
As I wait for my sleep, the situation's got me thinking deep. Will it hurt the sink? And all life is in extinction. Evil creeps in your dreams. Secret teams drawing memes. And the filling in the in-betweens. My control for the teens. Now they got you on your knees. I'm making my way through this zombie maze, but I'm dazed by mass confusion. All the images that they're using.
There's the race to the tip of the top of the pyramid. The pyramid.
By up our free will and falling in, to this low level of spiritual awareness, such that these methods can have any effect over us.